There's something she never told her granddaughter, and it wasn't a secret she meant to keep, only one she didn't know how to give. Chicago, the autumn of 1962. A brick row house on the south side. A west window, a worn oak desk, a fountain pen, dark burgundy with a gold nib, and a leather journal that had taken 23 years to fill.
The rules were, your armor.
That sentence took her 3 months of speech therapy to say out loud. By the time she said it, her granddaughter had already understood it. She had read every page. This is the story of 2 women who lived in the same house for 11 years. A woman of 62 and a girl of 17. 1 stroke, 1 drawer, 1 folder labeled with the other's name. And how the silence between them finally became something they could both hear. Welcome back to the Porch Light, where we sit together with the stories that shaped a generation. Settle in. Pour something warm. The afternoon sun is just starting to fall the way it used to. 1962. The south side of Chicago. A brick row house on 43rd Street. At 5 each morning, the kitchen radio came on, and a Birmingham reporter told Chicago what Chicago already knew. Clara Whitmore rose at 5 and pressed her shirt dress, pinned the pearl earrings she had worn since her wedding. She had learned long ago that survival was choreography. Where you placed your hands, how steady your voice stayed, what you did not say. Order was the only sanctuary the world had not been able to take from her. Clara was 62, Mississippi-born, Chicago-grown, widowed in 39, lost her son and daughter-in-law in a 51 tenement fire on the west side, the night that brought an 11-year-old child to her front hall with a suitcase and a quilt. 23 years at Mercer and Hollander Mutual Indemnity. The only black woman on the executive floor. She would have told you if you had asked that she was a careful woman. She would not have told you why.
Amy, 6:15 child. Your eggs are on the stove, and your skirt is pressed, and your shoes are by the back door where you left them. I will not call up the stairs again. The bus leaves 43rd at 7:07, and the bus does not know your name. The bus does not wait. The bus has never waited. The bus will not start waiting for you today.
Upstairs, Amy Whitmore, 17, came down in a pressed cardigan and a plaid skirt. On the cardigan, a small brass dove. A boy in her youth chapter had given it to her. She wore it every day. Clara saw it. Clara saw everything. Clara said nothing. They sat. They said grace. Clara, of Bray.
There's a meeting on Saturday, downtown. Just a planning meeting. Some of the kids from school are going. Loretta is going. Russell is going. Their mothers know. Their mothers walk them to the bus stop on Wednesday. I am asking Grandma. I am not telling. I am asking. Please, I would like to go. I have been good. I have not asked to go to the last 3. I am asking this time. Just one. Just this one Saturday. I will be home by dark.
You will not be at any meeting where the police know to come. You will eat your eggs. We are not their family. I am not their mother. There is a difference between asking and informing, child. and I will let you know which one of those you just did when I am ready. The eggs are getting cold. You will eat them now. You will get on the bus at 7:07. You will go to school. We will not speak of Saturday again until I have decided to speak of Saturday. The decision is mine. The house is mine. The Saturday is mine until I say otherwise.
Amy stabbed her fork. Clara did not raise her voice. The first crack in the wall was already there. Neither one turned to look. 7:07. Clara walked into Mercer and Hollander, 6th floor, executive claims. The new IBM Selectric had come in the year before, and Clara could already make hers sound like rain on a roof. Her desk faced the office of Mr. Hollander, her superior for 19 years. Hollander passed her desk and asked for the Sherman file. He told her she was the best in the building. Clara answered that the file was already on his blotter. Across the typing pool, Eunice Tate caught Clara's eye for half a second. The corner of Clara's mouth lifted by a fraction. They both returned to their machines. At 11:20, a young account man named Carl Wallace came out of Hollander's office with a stack of folders. Clara had trained him in his first 3 months. He had not addressed her by name that morning. He set the folders on her desk, told her, over his shoulder, "Sweetheart," to retype the Sherman summary because Hollander wanted it cleaner. He walked off, whistling. Clara did not look up. She finished the line she was writing. Eunice's eyes through the frosted glass met Clara's once. At noon, the two of them sat at the typist's table by the supply closet, brown paper lunch bags. Through the office windows, the sounds of the loop drifted in. The L train, a church bell, the cigarette smoke of 3 white secretaries curled around the partition. Those secretaries did not eat with Clara and Eunice. They had never eaten with Clara and Eunice. The two tables ran parallel for 15 years and never touched.
Mr. Hollander told the Sherman client this morning that you were, and I quote, remarkably articulate. He paid Wallace a raise last month, $40 a week more than you make. He has a small vocabulary, that man. And you say nothing.
I know. I write it down. That is what I say. The book in the drawer at home is 23 years long now. The man does not know it exists. The man will not know it exists. But the book exists, Eunice. That is what I say.
Eunice held her gaze a long second. Then she smiled the smile of a woman told a confidence she had already half guessed. She raised her thermos cup a 1/4 inch in salute. They ate the rest of their lunch the way 2 soldiers might eat a meal in a foxhole. Quickly, completely, with no waste. 4:47 in the afternoon. Clara was home. Always at 4:47. She had measured the bus ride and the walk so many times that her foot crossed her own threshold within a margin of 90 seconds, 6 days a week, for 2 decades. She hung her coat on the hall tree, set the portfolio on the front hall table, removed her hat, then walked in her stocking feet down the short hallway to the small room with the west window, her study. Listen for this room, because we will return to it. The west window faced an empty lot. Nothing obstructed the light. At this hour, the sun came in at a steep angle and laid itself flat across a worn oak desk, a green felt blotter, a fountain pen with a gold nib. The room smelled of 3 things: old paper, iron gall ink, the faint cedar of the bottom drawer. She sat. She cleaned her gold-rimmed glasses on a handkerchief. She opened the journal. She wrote for exactly 15 minutes. At 5:02 she closed the book, returned the pen, and walked back to the kitchen to peel potatoes. By the time Amy came in at 5:20, there was nothing in Clara's face that suggested she had ever been alone with a sentence in her life. Amy called from the front hall that she was home. Clara answered with the 6 words she had answered with for 11 years. Hands washed before the table, child. Amy washed and came back. A folded mimeographed flyer sat in her cardigan pocket. Pale blue paper. A meeting at a Bronzeville church basement, Wednesday evening, 7 o'clock. She had not yet decided whether to show it. They sat. They said grace. Then Amy spoke.
Grandma, there's a sit-in being planned at the Woolworth's lunch counter, the one down on State, Saturday morning at 10. I want to go. Loretta is going. Russell is going. Their mothers know. Their mothers helped them pack a lunch and walk them to the bus stop on Wednesday. I am asking. Grandma, I am asking. Not telling. What are you afraid will happen? Tell me one specific thing you have seen with your own 2 eyes. Tell me one. That is all I am asking. I will sit and I will listen. I will not interrupt. I will not slam a cabinet. I will not raise my voice. I will sit at this table for as long as it takes, Grandma. Just tell me one thing you have seen.
Clara cut a piece of pork chop, chewed, swallowed.
No. I heard the question before you said it. You will not be at the Woolworths on Saturday, not while you live in this house. I am not their mother. I am not afraid, child. I am older. There is a difference between afraid and knowing, and you will learn it one day. And on the day you learn it, you will be standing in a different kitchen than this one, looking at a different girl. I have seen 7 specific things with my own 2 eyes. I will not tell you what they are. Not at this table. Not on a Tuesday. Not on a pork chop you have not even finished. The 7 things have names. The names live in a book. The book lives in a drawer. The drawer lives in this house. When the day comes that I think you need to know, I will know. That day is not today. That day is not soon, child. That day is when I am ready to ask you to carry what I carry. And I am not ready, and you are not ready, and the world is not ready, and we are going to eat our supper now, and we are going to wash our hands, and we are going to thank the Lord for the food that He provides.
Amy did not answer. After a minute, she asked, quiet and hurt, if she might be excused. Clara said yes. Take her plate to the sink first. Amy walked up the stairs. The bedroom door closed. Quiet. Quiet was what they did. Quiet was what Amy would, in 5 years, learn to call a wall. Amy heard a wall that evening. She did not yet hear the room behind it. Clara sat at the kitchen table a long time after Amy had gone. The radio was off. The kettle was cooling. Outside, the south side dimmed into evening. A boy went by on a bicycle. Somewhere a dog barked twice and was answered. Clara closed her eyes. Her hand rested on the table beside her plate. The fingers were still. She had been raising the girl alone for 11 years. She had been writing the book alone for 13. The fingers were still. The fingers had to stay still. That was the order. That was how she kept herself in one piece. 6 days later. 2 in the morning. Clara at the kitchen table since 1:20, waiting for the creak of the back porch screen door. Amy was using it again. At 2:07, Amy came up the back hall in stockinged feet and rounded the kitchen doorway. The light was on. Her grandmother sat at the table, hands wrapped around a cup that was no longer steaming. Amy had been ready for the lecture. She was not ready for what she found. Amy whispered that she was sorry. She begged for the lecture. Anything but this. Clara did not answer. She did not turn. She did not move. Amy waited for the lecture. The lecture did not come. After a long time, Clara lifted her cup, drank what was left, set the cup down, rose, walked past Amy without looking at her, and went up the stairs. The bedroom door closed. Quiet. Quiet was what they did. Amy stood in the kitchen alone. She had been ready to fight. She had not been ready for silence. The silence was worse. She understood that her grandmother had not been waiting up to scold her. Her grandmother had been waiting up to know she was alive. Amy began to cry, quietly, into her own sleeve. Wednesday. Hollander appeared at Clara's desk with 7 folders Wallace had fumbled. He smiled, went back to his office. Clara walked to the ladies' room, locked the door, placed her wrists under cold water, breathed in for 4, out for 6, 90 seconds. By 12:15, all 7 files were on Hollander's blotter in a stack so square the corners might have been measured. Lunch. Eunice spoke quieter than usual. She asked Clara, "Honey, how long they were going to do this?" She said the world the girl was walking into was not the world they had been dressed for. The collar, she said, was the price they had paid, so the price would not be the girl's. She asked Clara when the woman got to be grown. When did the book come out of the drawer? When did the letter go in the mail?
Until the girl is grown, Eunice. Some days I think she is already grown. Some days I look across this table and remember a 5-year-old in a flannel nightgown on the morning after the fire. Both girls are her. I am raising both of them. As for the letter has my granddaughter's safety in it. The letter has my paycheck. The letter has my pension. The letter has my house. The letter will live in the drawer until the day I no longer have a granddaughter to feed.
Eunice did not answer that. She picked up her thermos cup. She set it down again without drinking from it. The two of them ate the rest in a different silence than usual. The kind of silence between two friends who have been at the same desk so long, they no longer need to ask the question. Outside, the office hallway sounded of typewriters. The L train passed 2 blocks over. A cigarette burned in an ashtray at the other end of the room, and the 3 white secretaries laughed about something Eunice and Clara could not hear. Wednesday evening. A church basement. 18 young people in a half circle. Russell slid a pale blue flyer into Amy's hand. Saturday, 10 in the morning. The Woolworths. Amy slipped it into her pocket. Both of them, in different rooms, slept poorly. Saturday morning, Clara pressed Amy's skirt and blouse and laid them on a chair. She did not press her own dress. Amy came down at 7. She had not slept. She saw the dress. Clara was at the sink, her back to the room. Clara, back turned, told her in a flat, low voice that the skirt was pressed, that if Amy went where she had been asked not to go, she would not come back to that house in those pressed clothes, that she should eat her breakfast first. Whatever she chose to do, she should eat her breakfast first. Amy ate. At 8:45, she stood, put on the cardigan, pinned the brass dove, and opened the front door. It closed quiet behind her. Clara walked into the study, opened the journal, wrote one line, closed the book, put her hand to her chest. 10. The Woolworths. 47 young people took every other stool. The manager said the counter was not serving them. Russell answered softly that they would not leave, sir. They sat. At noon, a Tribune photographer took a picture. Amy's hand with the brass dove was in the frame. Eunice would cut it from Monday's edition and keep it in her purse without a word to Clara. Back at 43rd Street, Clara at the kitchen table, the radio on. The reporter said no one was injured, that the young people were sitting peacefully. Clara closed her eyes, breathed in for 4, out for 6. The breathing worked. It did not work all the way. Amy came home at 6:15. There was a smear of something on her cheek. Her headband had slipped slightly. She did not wash her hands. She came down the hall, lit and breathless, and told her grandmother everything she had done. That she had gone. That she had sat. That she had not run. That the police came and did nothing. That they had won. That they had won today. Clara did not turn from the stove. She wiped her hands on her apron. Then she turned. There were no tears in her face. There was something steadier than tears.
Wash your hands. Sit down at this table. Amy Louise Whitmore, tell me what you saw. Tell me every face. Tell me every word the manager said. Tell me where the photographer stood. Tell me how many policemen came. Tell me what street you walked home down. Tell me who walked behind you and who walked beside you. Tell me the color of the waitress's apron. Tell me how many cars were parked along Randolph. Tell me everything, child, every detail, every name you remember. Then I will know whether you are safe. Then I will let you eat your supper. The beans are not cold. I have kept the heat on low. The kitchen is warm. The house is warm. You will tell me everything, and then we will eat. And then you will go to your room, and you will rest. Because tomorrow is Sunday, and Sunday is the Lord's. And on the Lord's day, we do not raise our voices in this house.
What Amy was hearing was a debrief. A debrief like a captain might run with a soldier returned from the line. She did not know yet that her grandmother had been running debriefs in her own head, alone in a study with a fountain pen, for 23 years. Amy washed her hands. She told her grandmother everything. Clara listened, did not interrupt. When Amy was finished, Clara nodded once. Amy ate. The beans were warm. 3 weeks. Amy went to 2 more meetings. Clara did not stop her. Clara did not press her dresses. Amy began to press her own. At the firm, Eunice watched Clara's hands. They were slower than the month before. Thursday evening in early November. 6:20. The study. The afternoon light was failing. Clara at the desk, journal open, pen uncapped, a small cup of tea on the blotter. The room was suspended in the kind of light that knows it is about to leave. Outside, a boy on a bicycle rang a bell once. Then the front door. Amy came into the study without knocking. She was holding a folded pale blue flyer. Her cardigan was unbuttoned. Her headband was slightly crooked. She had been running. She had not been running away from anything. She had been running toward something. That, the narrator notes, makes a difference.
Grandma. Saturday, the bus boycott. The one in Birmingham, the same kind here. Russell says they want 100 kids. They want me on the steering committee. Grandma. The steering committee. Me. 3 weeks ago you sat me down at this very table and asked me everything. Every face. Every word the manager said. Where the photographer stood. How many policemen came. You let me go. You knew where I was. You wanted to know. Then what was the point? What was the point of you asking, Grandma? What was the point of you listening to me for an hour at this table? If it was only to lock me in this house. Wait for what? You have waited my whole life. You have waited every day at that desk under that man. You have waited so long you don't even know you're waiting. What are you waiting for? Tell me. Tell me one thing you are waiting for. Tell me when the waiting ends.
Clara closed the journal. Slowly, the leather cover made a small, dry sound against the felt. Her right hand rested beside the pen. Her left hand stayed on the cover of the book. She did not raise her voice. She did not raise her face. The light in the window was almost gone.
I have lived every word of what is happening out there, Amy. Since before you were born. In rooms you do not know about. With people whose names you will never hear me say. I have lived it in Mississippi when I was 8, and in Chicago when I was 24, and in this house when I was 40, and in that office every weekday of my adult life. I have lived it in the elevator, child, in the ladies' room, tacit, at the lunch table, in the way Mr. Hollander says, our girl, tacit, in the way the raise goes to the white man who calls me sweetheart. I have lived every word of it. So when I tell you not to do a thing, child, I am not telling you out of cowardice. I am telling you out of knowledge. I am asking you to wait. I am not locking you in this house. I am asking you to wait. Wait is not the same as no, child. Wait is the longest word any woman of color in this country has ever learned to say, and I have said it every day of my life, and I am saying it to you tonight, because the day you walk into the world I have already walked in. I want you to walk in with my hand on the small of your back, not with a closed door behind you.
Then act like it. Act like it, Grandma. If you have lived it, then for once in your life, act like it. Stand up. Say one true thing in the kitchen. Say one true thing in front of me. Not in your book, in your mouth, in this room, to my face. For once, just once, act like a woman who has lived it, instead of a woman who has watched it through a frosted glass partition for 23 years and called that watching a life. I do not want to live the life you have lived, Grandma. I do not want to sit at your desk on your chair and write your book. I want to walk down State Street and sit on a stool and let them photograph me. And you would not let me have even that. And you cannot tell me why. And I cannot understand why. And we are screaming at each other in this room because neither of us knows how to say the other thing.
Clara raised her eyes. The teacup caught the last ray of sun. The room was holding its breath. The narrator is going to slow it down for you because the people in the room could not. Clara opened her mouth to answer. The answer formed in her chest. The first word began to rise toward her throat. The word was I. The word never made it past her teeth. Her right hand, beside the pen, twitched once, then would not move. The teacup tipped. The handle slid off the edge of the saucer. The cup struck. The saucer cracked. The sound was small. The sound was clean. In the silence of that study, it was the loudest sound either of them had ever heard.
Ash.
Part of a word, or the beginning of her granddaughter's name. The right side of Clara's mouth would not close. Her left hand lifted 6 inches, hovered above the journal, and came down on it. Amy stood frozen in the doorway. She said the word grandma 3 times in a voice that did not arrive in air. Then she ran to the kitchen and dialed 0.
My grandmother, please. 43 Calumet, 43rd and Calumet. The brick row house with the iron stoop. She can't talk. She can't move her right hand. The cup fell. She tried to say my name and she couldn't. The side of her face is wrong. Send somebody, please. Send somebody now. Her name is Clara Whitmore. She is 62. She lives at this house. I am her granddaughter. I am the only one here. Please, please send them. Please.
The operator answered steady that she should stay on the line. She was connecting Amy to the fire department. Amy should go back to her grandmother and leave the receiver off the hook. They were on their way. Amy ran back to the study. The room was almost dark. Clara was still in the chair, her left hand on the journal, eyes tracking Amy. Amy knelt and whispered, "I am sorry," into her grandmother's good hand. Clara's left hand lifted, 1/2 inch, and lowered again. She was still in there. She just could not get out. The sirens came at 6:34. The stretcher came up the front steps. 2 men in white shirts lifted Clara the way you lift a vase you have loved your whole life. Her left hand reached, once, toward the desk. Toward the journal. Amy saw the reach. She ran to the desk, closed the journal, and held it tight against her chest. She climbed into the ambulance behind the stretcher. The journal did not leave her hands for 6 hours. Provident Hospital, 46th Street, 11:07 that night. A doctor came down the hallway in a white coat. He was 40, sandy-haired, kind eyes. Dr. Reed.
Miss Whitmore, I'm Dr. Reed. Your grandmother has had a stroke, a serious one. The medical term for what she is experiencing is expressive aphasia. Her mind is intact. Her understanding is intact. She knows you are here. She knows what time it is. She knows the year. The part of her brain that turns thoughts into words has been injured. The right side of her body has weakness. We will assess in the morning. We will know more in 72 hours. We will know more in a week. We will know more in a month. Many patients recover language slowly. Single words first, phrases later. Some recover most of what they had. Some do not. There is no shortcut. It will take time. It will take therapy. It will take patience from everyone who loves her. She is going to need you to be steady, Miss Whitmore. Steadier than is fair to ask of a young woman of 17. You will be steady. I have already seen it in your face.
Amy nodded. She did not cry. She would cry later. Right then, she was holding her grandmother's journal against her chest and trying to make her own face look like the face her grandmother had worn at the firm for 19 years. The face that did not show anything. She got it almost right. Dr. Reed did not see what was underneath. He walked away. Amy sat in the hospital chair next to the bed. Clara was sleeping. The IV stand clicked every 14 seconds. The fluorescent light above the bed had been turned down. Amy reached, very gently, with one hand and took her grandmother's left hand. The hand was warm. The fingers were still. Amy held it. She did not let go. The journal sat on her lap. She did not open it yet. It did not occur to her, yet, that she could. 8 days later, a Saturday afternoon, a knock at the front door. Eunice Tate on the porch, in a mauve coat, with a small velvet collar, holding a warm tin pan covered with a clean dish towel. Eunice did not take off her coat. She stood in the front hall and held the girl's eye.
Cornbread. From my kitchen. Don't argue, child. I am not here to tell you how to feel. I am here to tell you one thing, and then I am going home, and I will leave you to your house. Your grandmother is the strongest woman I have ever known. Stronger than you have ever seen her. Stronger than she has ever let you see her. You hear what I am telling you, Amy? You hear me. There are women in this city who walked into rooms your grandmother had already walked into 10 years before, and the only reason they walked in at all was because she had walked in first and held the door with her body and never told anybody that was what she was doing. She held doors for 23 years. She held them quiet. She held them with that face she wears. You will understand, child. Not tonight, not next week. One day. Good. That is all. Eat the cornbread.
Eunice turned and walked out the front door and down the steps without looking back. Amy stood in the front hall a long time. She did not yet understand what Eunice had told her. She knew it was a sentence with a key in it. She could not yet see the lock. 3 days later. Dr. Reed had said Clara would come home in 2 weeks. The study would be the best room. Amy had not yet been able to walk into the study. It was the room where the cup had tipped. On the 17th day, at 4:47, she put her hand on the doorknob, breathed in for 4, breathed out for 6, and opened it. The sun came in at a steep angle and laid itself flat across the oak desk. Amy stood in the doorway. The room smelled of old paper, iron gall ink, the faint cedar of the bottom drawer. The room smelled of her grandmother. It smelled the way her grandmother's collars had smelled when Amy was small and Clara had held her at the kitchen table after the fire. Amy began to cry. She understood, with a clarity that surprised her, that her grandmother had given her this room to find. She walked across the braided rug and sat down in her grandmother's chair. The chair had fit her grandmother. The chair fit her. The chair, it turned out, fit them both. She opened the bottom drawer. The journal on top, 3 older journals below, a manila folder, 2 long brown envelopes. Amy opened the top journal. October 14th, 1961. Quote, Mr. Hollander introduced me today to the new actuary, Mr. Wallace. He said, "This is our girl." I did not correct him. I came home. I am writing his name correctly here. End quote. Amy began to read faster. She could not stop. November 8. Quote, Amy came home with a bruise on her arm from a misunderstanding at school. She said it was nothing. I did not press her. I am writing it down. End quote. Amy remembered the bruise. She had told her grandmother it was nothing. Her grandmother had noticed everything. Amy turned back through the older journals. Volume 1 began January 1949, 13 years. 4 journals. Every page in her grandmother's careful hand. Every slight catalogued. Every wage difference recorded. The way a meteorologist records the weather, accurately, without telling the sky how to be. Amy sat back. Her hand was shaking. She lifted the manila folder. 5 typed pages, paper clipped. Dated June 2nd, 1956. Addressed to Mr. Daniel R. Mercer, President. 5 careful, polite, devastating pages. Every wage gap. Every past promotion. Every junior man whose work she had redone. No emotion, no accusation, only ledger. The last paragraph read this, quote, I have come to believe that the silence I have kept in this building is a silence the building has profited from. I am writing this letter not to ask for your apology, but to ask, with respect, that you examine the books of this firm in the manner in which I have examined them. Respectfully, Clara M. Whitmore, end quote. Below the signature, in pencil, quote, stamped, never mailed. I have a granddaughter in this house. She is 11 years old. She must grow up in a house with a paycheck and a quiet table. The letter will live in the drawer. The fight will live in me, end quote. Amy read the last line 3 more times. The fight will live in me. She tried to picture the night her grandmother had typed those pages. The kitchen at 11, the old underwriter on the dining table, the stamp, the addressed envelope, and then the decision. Not today. Not while the girl is in the house. The fight will live in me. Amy began to cry. She had loved her in silence, the way an iron column loves the bridge it holds up. She put the letter back. She reached for the bottom of the drawer. 2 long brown envelopes. The first was thick, folded clippings inside. Annotations in pencil, in her grandmother's hand. Quote, she is 10 years old. She must hear this name first from me. End quote. Quote, Mrs. Parks, the newspapers say she was tired. I think she had been writing it down. End quote. Quote, Amy is 15. She will want to do this one day. Let her be ready. End quote. Quote, the world is moving faster than my house. I must not let my house mistake its quiet for safety. End quote. Amy put the clippings down. She lifted the second envelope. It was thinner. It had a hand label on the front in her grandmother's careful printed capitals. The label said one word. The label said Amy. She held the envelope for a long moment without opening it. She ran her thumb along the printed letters. AMY, 3 small capitals in dark ink on a pale brown envelope. The envelope was not new. The corners were softened. The envelope had been there a long time. The envelope had been waiting. She opened it. Inside, a small folder. A report card from 54. A crayon drawing of a brick row house with 2 figures holding hands. A pressed honeysuckle. A lock of dark hair. Photographs of Amy at 6, 12, 15. And a typed list. 3 pages. The title in capitals. Quote, "Things I will not have time to teach her if I am gone before she is ready." End quote. 32 numbered items. Amy read them slowly. Each rule had been written for her. Number 1, quote, "When you enter a room, look at the doorways. Always know where they are. This is not fear. This is good housekeeping." End quote. Number 9, quote, "If a man calls you sweetheart in an office, do not correct him. Write his name in a book. You will need this book one day. I have mine." End quote. Number 15, quote, "Press your own color, even when no one will see it. A pressed color is a private promise." End quote. Number 20, quote, "When a friend offers you cornbread after a difficult week, do not say no. Eat it warm, then write her a note." End quote. Number 23, quote, "The rules in this house are not opinions. They are weather reports. The world I survived is the world they were written for." End quote. Number 29, quote, "When you finally march, march for the women who could not. We are walking with you. We are walking quieter than your feet, but we are walking." End quote. Number 31, quote, "If I am not here when you understand all of this, I have not abandoned you. I am still in the chair by the west window. Sit in the chair. Read the books. You will know what to do." End quote. Number 32, the last line, quote, "When the world will not let you raise your voice, learn to make your silence louder than their noise." End quote. Amy laid the pages down beside the journal, the folder, the envelope. Then she sank onto the braided rug and wept the way a person weeps when the world they thought they were living in turns inside out in their hands. She had not been forbidden. She had been forged. Every rule, every silence, every press dress and refused meeting. All of it the same scaffolding. All of it a 62-year-old woman writing armor for a granddaughter she had been raising alone since a tenement fire. Amy stayed on the rug a long time. She understood that her grandmother had never kept this room for herself. She had only kept it for Amy. At 7:30, the telephone rang. Eunice on the line.
"Miss Eunice, I read it. I read all of it. The books, the letter, the folder, the list. 13 years she has been writing it. For me. She wrote everything down for me. How did you know? I am sitting on the rug in her study, Miss Eunice. The light is gone. The room is dark. I have not turned the lamp on, because the lamp was hers and I cannot reach it yet. I do not know how to be this much wrong about a person. and still love them more than I did before. May I take it to the hospital tomorrow? May I read it to her? I want her to hear me read her own words back. I want her to know I have read them. I want her to know I understood. Please tell me that is the right thing to do.
Yes, child, yes, it is the right thing to do. I am going to tell you a thing nobody on that floor will tell you, child, because we do not say it out loud, and we have not said it out loud in 15 years. I have a book of my own. We all have books. The ones who have lasted on that executive floor have all kept books and different drawers in different handwriting. Some of us write in shorthand. Some of us write in ledger. Some of us tuck the pages into our hat boxes and never look at them again. Your grandmother was the most careful one. She has been the most careful woman in that building since the year I came in. She still is. You read it to her tomorrow. You read it slow. You read every word the way she wrote it, in her voice. She will hear it. She will hear you. Eat the cornbread, child, then sleep. You have a long road tomorrow, and your grandmother is waiting for you on the other end of it.
Amy hung up. She gathered the journal, the folder, the clippings, the envelope, and the list of 32 rules into her grandfather's old leatherette portfolio. She ate a slice of cornbread, warm by the kitchen light. Then she slept. 6 weeks later, the first Tuesday in December, a weak winter sun, a station wagon pulled up at 3:12. Amy on the porch in her grandfather's old sweater, the portfolio in her arms. Dr. Reed helped Clara into a wooden wheelchair. Clara was thinner. The right side of her face still slipped. Her right hand rested mostly motionless on the rail. Her left hand gripped Amy's as Amy bent down to greet her.
Welcome home, Grandma. Welcome home. I have warmed the kitchen. I have warmed the study. I have warmed the chair in the study, because I knew you would want the chair and not the bed. The journal is on the desk. The pen. The glasses on the chain. I have read the books, Grandma. I have read all of them. I have read the letter to Mr. Ginty, Mercer. I have read the folder with my name on the outside. I have read the 32 rules. The drawer is still your drawer. Welcome home.
Clara's eyes filled. She did not speak. She could not yet speak. She looked at Amy. She looked at the portfolio in Amy's arm. She looked at the door of the house she had bought with her own salary in 1947. She closed her eyes, breathed in for 4, breathed out for 6, opened her eyes and nodded once. Amy understood the nod. Amy wheeled her into the front hall, down the short hallway, not to the bedroom, not to the hospital bed Dr. Reed had ordered. Amy wheeled her instead into the study. The sun was on the desk early in December because the angle had changed, and the small west window was catching a thin, low, weak afternoon light at 3:19. Clara could see it. Clara could feel it. Clara had felt this light on her hands every weekday afternoon for 23 years. Amy placed on the green felt blotter the 4 journals, the folder, the envelope of clippings, the envelope marked AMY, and the list of 32 rules. Clara's left hand lifted, hovered above the journals, and came down on the top one. Amy placed her own hand over her grandmother's hand. Both hands joined on the journal in the low afternoon light of December 1962. Neither spoke, neither needed to. The room spoke for them. Clara closed her eyes. A single tear slipped from the corner of her left eye. Amy caught it with one finger and pressed it, gently, to the corner of the journal page. The page kept it. Some inheritances do not arrive as money. They arrive as a way of standing in a room. What happened next, in the slow rebuilding of one woman's voice, would teach both of them a kind of grace neither had known the name of. 5 weeks of rehabilitation. Mrs. Drayton, a speech pathologist, came 3 mornings a week. First week, vowels. Second week, consonants. Clara, who had not smiled in 5 weeks, lifted the corner of her mouth on the left side. The smile was lopsided. The smile was real. The third week, words. Mrs. Drayton placed flashcards on the kitchen table. Clara breathed in for 4, breathed out for 6, opened her mouth, tried. Each word took 3 or 4 tries. Each word came out a little clearer than the last.
Cup, light, door, tree.
Amy laughed softly at each one. Mrs. Drayton patted Clara's good hand. On a Friday afternoon, Mrs. Drayton placed a flashcard with 4 letters. AMY. Clara looked at the card. She looked at the granddaughter across the table. The kitchen clock read 10:27. Amy was holding her grandmother's unresponsive right hand. Clara breathed. Her lips trembled. The afternoon sun moved a 1/4 inch across the table. Amy was not breathing. Clara tried.
My.
Amy laughed and cried at the same time, put both hands over her own face, and laughed and cried into them. Mrs. Drayton patted Clara's good hand very gently. Clara, with her left hand, reached across the kitchen table and put her fingers lightly on the back of Amy's wrist. The first word. After 7 weeks, the first word she had said out loud in her own kitchen, in her own house, was her granddaughter's name. 3 months in, February of 1963, snow on the porch rail, the kitchen warm with coffee and oatmeal, Amy at the kitchen table reading the morning newspaper aloud, a small story on page 3 about a march planned for spring in Birmingham. Amy looked up. Clara was watching her.
The rules were your armor.
Amy laid the newspaper down. She walked around to her grandmother's side of the table. She knelt beside the wheelchair. She put her arms, very gently, around her grandmother's narrow shoulders. She did not squeeze. She just held. Amy said, soft and steady, "My armor. I know now, Grandma. I have known since the afternoon I sat in your chair and opened your drawer. I will carry it the way you carried it. I will write my own book, Grandma, and it will be longer than yours." Clara closed her eyes. A long breath went out of her. The whole house seemed for a moment to exhale with her. 4 months in, March. The same Bronzeville church basement. 22 young people now. Amy stood up. She placed the top Cordovan journal on the table at the front of the half circle. She left it closed.
My grandmother is 62. She worked at the same desk downtown for 23 years. She is the only black woman who ever sat on the executive floor of Mercer and Hollander. She had a stroke in November. She is at home. She taught me that stillness is not silence. Sometimes stillness is a load-bearing wall. My grandmother wrote in a book like this for 13 years. Every slight, every dollar she should have been paid and was not. Every time a man called her girl in an elevator, she wrote it quietly. For me, I used to think she was small. I want to tell you tonight that she was the largest, quietest, most patient soldier in any room she walked into. The rules she gave me were the floor she put under my feet so that, when the day came, I could walk somewhere without falling through. We march in April. I am in. My grandmother gave me her journal to carry in my bag. The journal will march with us. It has earned the walk.
The room was very still. Russell put his hand on the journal. Amy sat down. 6 months in May of 1963. Clara's speech had returned in roughly 2/3 of its old range. She spoke slowly. She paused often. Her sentences were shorter than they had been. Her sentences carried, somehow, more in them than they had before. The right side of her face still slipped a little when she smiled. The smile was real. She sat that afternoon in her wheelchair beside the oak desk in the study. 4:47. The sun was at the angle it had always been at 4:47 in early May. It laid itself, flat and gold, across the green felt blotter, across the worn corner of a journal she had not opened in 7 months. Amy sat in the leather wingback chair beside her. Amy had pulled the chair around so that the two of them could share the desk. The chair fit Amy now. The chair had fit Clara then. The chair, it turned out, fit them both. Amy opened a new journal, a slightly lighter Cordovan. She uncapped the fountain pen and handed it to her grandmother. Clara took it with her left hand. She wrote, slowly, 3 words. Then she handed the pen back. Amy wrote the rest. They wrote it together. Quote, Rule 33, a new grace, written by 2 hands. End quote. Clara closed the journal. Amy laid the pen down. The afternoon sun continued, gently, across the blotter. The light was the same light. The journal was a new journal. The hands were 2 hands. The room, for the first time in 23 years, did not belong only to Clara. The room belonged to both of them. The room had always, the narrator suspects, belonged to both of them. They had only just now agreed about it. Every house holds a desk like Clara's. Every desk holds a hand that wrote down what it could not say. Every drawer holds a folder somebody put together for a person they loved more than they were ever able to tell. And sometimes, if we are patient, and if we are lucky, and if we are willing to read what was always there, we discover that the people who seemed strictest with us were the people who loved us most exactly. True nobility is not in shouting above the crowd. It is in becoming a sun that stands still and shines quietly upon the ones we will not live long enough to protect any other way. Clara lived another 11 years. She saw Amy graduate from Roosevelt University, march with the journal in her bag in Chicago and Selma in Memphis, become a lawyer in 73, and take a job in the same Loop building Clara had typed in for 23 years. On Amy's first day, She walked past the desk where Clara had once sat and placed a small brass dove pin on the corner. Clara died on a Sunday in May of 1973 at 4:47 beside the oak desk in the study, with the west light on her hands, with her granddaughter beside her, with the journal open between them, with the small steady knowledge that she had not, after all, been gone before she was ready. Thank you for sitting with us tonight at the porch light. Somewhere in a drawer in your house, there may be a journal waiting. If there is, we hope you open it. We hope you find your name on a folder you did not know was there. And we hope you understand that the silence in your house was never empty. It was only waiting for you to be ready. Good night, friends. We will see you again when the afternoon light comes back to the desk.